everyone, welcome back to RTS and welcome back to week 11 of our summer space shape up. So hard to believe we only have one more week left, and that means we only have 1 week of summer technically left. Hard to believe. Time just goes so fast. Okay, so let's get right into it. So this week of week 11 of our summer space shape up, of course we're going to talk about dies and die cuts, but we're going to get to that in just a minute. Yes. So last week was embossing folders and embellishments. Ugh. Category and a half, is it not? Yes, it is a lot. And so I wanted to say that, just do not stress over the fact that it will take you weeks and maybe even months to tackle that category, because I've been scrapbooking a long time and I still have to fine tune that category. And then also too, please remember that every year within our industry there is new embellishments entered in, into the market. And so then we, it's every year you just have to keep reinventing the wheel, it seems like. So I hope all of that information and all those long videos were helpful, okay? But my subscribers, my lovely subscribers, said that my videos could be whatever length, and I'm going to go by what my subscribers say. Yes, not what anybody else says, right? Okay, so what we're going to talk about first is our photos. No, what we're going to talk about first is maintaining. And so now I have just gotten some new subscribers and some are just joining in. And so you definitely can go back to the beginning of our summer space shape up series and work from week 1 and go forward. Or you can just hop in this week and then do next week and then start with one after that. So it's up to you. But in the description box below will be what we have been maintaining, and so that means what we've been working on. So you could just bypass that and just work on this week. Yes, because I have all those weeks printed out, and I'm going to routinely every week look at something on that list and work from it, and just it gives a little bit of organization every week. Okay, so that's what you're going to do. And then also too, I've said if this is all you did was maintain this desk surface or your desk or wherever you sit to scrap, then that is that's a big thumbs up. Yes, because that has happened for me this summer. I have kept this space wide open and free to scrap, and it's made a difference. It really has. I'm surprised how much of a difference it had made, because in my room, this is flat, of course, and it's empty. And in the past, if I saw an empty flat space, anything that I just didn't know what to do with in the rest of my home landed here. Okay, and some of you know what I'm talking about. And I didn't do that this summer. No, if it didn't belong in here, it did not get landed on this desk. I was really told about that. Okay, so yes, maintain what you can, work on when you can, and don't stress over the rest. Nope, that's not what it's about. Okay, so the thing is, you have to find the balance between continue to scrapbook and craft, and then trying, always keep this area free so that you can continue with that, and then every so often balance the fine art of organizing. Yes, it's, we have a lot of components to this hobby. Okay, so the next step up is what we're going to do is we're going to talk about photos, as we always do in every week of our summer space shape up. And so photos, what do I want to say? Well, print some photos this week, print some photos next week, because we have fall scrapbooking coming up, and so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually order a few hundred photos, I believe. Yes, I see a sale, and so if you know of a sale, and of course I can't list what my sale is because it'll be expired by the time this gets loaded, but if you're watching this today and you know of a sale, list it below, and so others can get in on the sale. Yes. Then also too, what you can do is when you're in your space and you have leftover photos from layouts and projects, you simply can just take an envelope, make a pocket, and put leftover photos and deal with all of this later. That's what I've been doing all summer. I will deal with this actually since May. I will deal with this later. I'm not dealing with it now. And then what you can do is just find a bin, and then just stick any photo you see, even if you don't know where it goes or what it belongs to, just stick all your photos in a leftover bin or basket, and you can address it later. It doesn't have to be anything organized. At least you know where your photos are if you need be. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so I think that's what I wanted to say with photos. Yes, get some photos printed. We have some scrapbooking coming up. Okay, so next we're going to talk about dies. Okay. And so we have dies in every form of fashion, every bin and basket you can think of, every size and style you can think of. And then what about the dies you just buy? Yes. Now I've been on a spending freeze this year, so I really haven't bought any dies. And actually, I don't even know if this was from this year. It was just something I had found in a kit. So so I have basically all my dies organized. And so if you're a level 1 gal, what you're going to do is just gather your dies in one place and kind of give a look through as to maybe where can you put these in a safe spot until you get to the day where you have time to deal with this, okay? Because dies are expensive, small pieces, you get them loose quickly, and then they get in between things and you're never going to find them. No. And then if you have little ones like this, I suggest getting one of these little bins, you know, you can get from the Dollar Tree, dollar store, and these little things fit in there just nicely. Yes, okay. We're going to talk about more about dies and organizing if you want to go to level 2, but if you're just level 1, you're simply just going to gather them, protect them, and then plan where you're going to organize them. Okay, you know where you're going to store them and how you want to organize them. Now, and again, I'll talk about all this in level 2, but for level 1, all you're going to have time is just protect them. Yes, they need protected. Yes, and keep them away from the dust. Absolutely. Okay, so then if, I wanted to say, if you're, you know, level 1 gal and you're gathering up your dies, if you want to give a quick look through, you know what I'm going to say, find that notebook and write a list and tell yourself, don't buy any dies for a while. Or maybe you could give yourself a goal, stop buying dies for 3 months until you organize the ones you have. That would be a nice goal. Okay, so that's level 1, okay? But we're going to talk about that more in level 2, so just hang in there with me. Okay, so then for level 2, or level 1, what we're going to talk about, the next category is die cuts. Die cuts, yes. Okay, so I'm going to put this here. Hope I don't have a crafty lunch. Okay, so die cuts and die cuts and die cuts and more die cuts. Yes, die cuts. Now some people call these ephemera packs. It's up to you. Die cuts, ephemera packs, die cut shapes, die cut pieces. Don't matter what you want to call them. We just love them. Yes, and I tell you, over the last several years, they became very popular. I remember back in the day, now they weren't as pretty as they are now, but die cut shapes back in the day kind of got taboo, and some of you are going to know what I'm going to say. They became taboo for a while, and you were kind of like old school if you were using them. Now to see how popular they are and how popular dies are, it's funny how things cycle. It really does. Okay, so what are we going to talk about for die cuts and ephemera? And you may have loose. Okay, you may have loose ephemera and die cuts as well. Okay, so if you're a level 1 gal, what are you going to do? Well, first of all, I would say collect all your packets. Okay, and you know, they just get put everywhere. And some you may have in kits, leave them in kits, but if you just have them laying around here and there, just, you know, as you're cleaning up, if you find them, just find one bin or basket and just simply put them in. I mean, that's all you're going to have time for. And frankly, to be honest, that's all that really needs to be done. I mean, leave them in this packaging, okay, for now, okay? But this type of supply left in a packet, that's no good for anybody because you can't see what you have, and then they never go back in the packaging correctly. I mean, isn't this Maggie Holmes? Oh, yes. Okay, and a couple of these I have actually gotten this year doing some traveling. I wanted to talk about a couple of these. Okay, so you could just simply, I mean, cute as a button, okay? They're protected. Or if you have one you want to play with, you could put it in a container like this, leave it out on your desk, and you could rifle through them and play with them. The only problem is if you leave this stuff out too long, I don't know if you can see this, but it gets dusty. Okay, and that means your die cuts are getting dusty. And I don't like dusty things. No, I don't like to dust, but I don't like dusty things. Okay, so that's something you have to consider. I wanted to say, now this is going to, with if you're a level 1 gal, this is going to be for your dies and your die cuts. There is absolutely nothing wrong, nothing wrong with gathering up either some loose dies or your loose die cuts and putting them in baggies. Okay, now some of your dies might have to go in a bigger baggie, but it's okay just to use something as basic as baggies to keep things protected until you get ready to organize them later. I mean, I do it all the time. I mean, what else are you gonna do? You don't want to lose your items. No, we can't have that. So go back to the basics. Go back to these baggies. You just can't go wrong. Now, with die cuts, for a level 1 gal, you're just going to gather them up and then maybe even open up a pack, put some on your desk if you want to play with them. Just keep them protected. And then what I wanted to show is if you have die cut packs that are open and you're fighting with the packaging, what you can do, and these are Jelly Bean ephemera. What are they called? I think they call them mixed media. What you can do is just put them in a bag, but at the same time, take some of the packaging and cut it down if need be and put it in that sandwich bag. And so basically, you're doing the same thing as what they came in. It's just now they're more accessible, okay? And I will tell you, for a long time, every time I brought one of these into my inventory, this is what I did. I cut this down, so then I would know, and I would put this on the back, and then I would know what's in it, and I would just stick my die cuts in there. I did that for all my die cut packs for the longest time, okay? And then level 2, I'll show you a little sneak peek is how I do my die cuts, because up tomorrow or the next day, a couple days from now, I will be talking about organizing die cuts specifically and how I handle them in my color binders. Okay, so for a level 1 die cut gal, you're simply just going to protect them and then maybe even play with them, okay? And then, you know, maybe if you want to do a quick little inventory, say, oh yeah, I have 6 or 7, it's not even open, probably should put that on the list not to buy any for a while, but kind of hard to say no to those things, yes. Okay, so don't forget, go back to the basics, use those sandwich bags, write down if you need some, if you don't need some. Now, when you're dealing with these bigger ones, you're going to have to really think about where you're going to put them once you take them out of the packaging. So that means you might have to go to a bigger baggie. Okay, the cellophane wrapping that these come in, they just don't last long. They weren't made to last long. Okay, they weren't made to house. They're just meant to package them for sale, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's what you're going to do. You're going to address your photos, give a quick gathering of your dies, protect them. And then you're also going to give a quick gathering of your die cuts. Perhaps just put them in a little basket or bin as they are. Put some loose ones in a little container. And if you see some that's ripped open, I would definitely consider putting them in sandwich baggies, okay? And you're not getting rid of the packaging, because then you'll know what they are, okay? And then also another alternative, if you wanted to do something quick. Okay, I'm going to put this in level 1 because this would be a quick option. Okay, now, don't mind me. I have some piles going on here because I have level 2 gals coming up here in a minute. You can simply take these photo cases. Now, this is a 4x6 size by the Paper Studio. You can honestly open up one of these die cut packs, and you could just pretend that was open up, and you could stick that in there, and then also keep the packaging. You could put a couple in there if they were basically the same color palette or the same color theme, you know, you could do that. Don't just put one. It'd be a little bit expensive, but you can. I've seen people do that. They've put a certain manufacturer in one, or I've seen people do them by color. So even something as simple as these little storage photo cases can be a quick alternative to these die cut packs. Okay, so that is your level 1 gals. So let's go right in to level 2. Okay, so level 2, what are you going to do? Yeah. Same thing we always do. We're going to dress this basket and bin. That's exactly what we're going to do. Yes, I'm running out of storage. And so then things have been added to, things have been taken away, but that's the whole purpose of this basket. So keep putting things in, keep taking things out, and then by the end of next week, maybe we will put a final plan on this basket. Okay, so keep doing that. And then along with that, you know, we have our pile. And with your pile, again, hit that timer for 15 minutes. Just one pile. That's all you have to do. Or any pile, for that matter, for 15 minutes. That's what I do. I just go, I don't have a lot of time, but I have 15 minutes, and I try to dress a pile. And honestly, I will still have piles at the end of this space shape up. I just will. Absolutely will. Okay, so if you now are a level 2 gal, and we're going to talk about our dies. Okay, now, you know, with our dies, they come in different sizes, different shapes, different packaging. Oh my goodness, it's so hard with dies, okay? And this really is a personal thing. It really comes down to space. And also to the amount of inventory you have. So if you're going to be a level 2 gal when it comes to your dies, what are you going to do? First of all, you're going to gather everything you have in one place, and then you're going to sit there and think, okay, where do I want to store these? And it needs to be a place where you can access them. And I know for me, for many, many, many months, Okay, I didn't have my dies in the right place, and every time I thought to go get them, I was going to have to move something to get into them, and I thought, so I had to rethink that. And so perhaps that's what you need to do this week, is not only just gather, maybe do a quick purge, not a purge, don't purge if you don't want to, do a quick look of your inventory. What do you have? What do you don't have? Maybe there's just some dies you don't care for anymore. It's okay to purge. It's okay not to purge. And then also too, you could think about and set a date for when you want to organize. You may already have a system in place for your dies, but maybe you have recently, or just this year, you haven't organized the ones you brought in to your inventory, and so maybe you need to just work on that, just getting them organized in whatever current system you have. Okay, and so now I just wanted to show a couple little things, and when you see my catalog binder, you'll see why I do things the way I do. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with taking these loose ones and putting them in a bin. Okay, absolutely nothing wrong at all. And then there's nothing wrong with some of these. I mean, what else are you going to do with them? They're not going to fit in an Avery L pocket. No, they're not going to fit in. So you're going to have to leave them as is. Same with these Tim Holtz. I have to leave them as is. I just had to find a place, because I wanted all my dies in one place. And so that's what I did. I found a place that all my dies, regardless of the size. And I would say that's probably a good plan for this week. Because you don't want to have dies on this side of the room and on that side of the room and on that side of the room. Try to think where you could have all your dies in one place, regardless of the size. And then regardless of how big they are. I mean, these things get honking. Okay, so maybe think about that. And then also too, with some of these longer ones, you don't want to leave them loose, so maybe just find a long bag. And then also too, if you have to, take one of these bigger bags and just, make them fit. Wrap them around, make them fit. Or you can get some of those 6x12 bags and they'll fit. Okay, so now also too, when I talk about dies, we have to talk about Avery L. Yes. Okay, now I have some new scrapbookers to this channel, so I want to explain how the majority of scrapbookers organize their dies. Not everyone, but a great majority, because it's a great system. It's not too expensive. And so what it is that we have these pockets, and they're just plastic sleeves. And I'll have a link below for Avery L, and also to an alternative for Avery L. Avery L is the name brand of pockets, but it's just a sleeve. That's all it is, like a DVD sleeve. That's all it is. But Avery L was a brand that a lot of us started with years ago, and boy, haven't the prices of those things went up in price. Yes. Okay, and you get a pack of 25 or 50 of them, but you can just get them off Amazon. They don't have to be the Avery L brand. And so then what we have then is a piece of cardstock and then some magnetic sheeting, and then we just have our dies simply put on top of there. Okay, and then for me, what I did was, and a lot of people do this, is you want to maximize this space. So I try to get on as many dies on the sheet as I can. Okay, now this number 6 has to do how I have mine cataloged, and I'll talk about that in a few weeks when we're done with our summer space shape up. But that is how most, I'm just going to say a high percentage of scrapbookers and crafters, how they do their dies, because it's just, it doesn't put a lot of bulk when you have these organized. This pocket and this magnetic sheet does not add a lot of bulk when you go to store. Okay, love those. Okay, and like I said, I'll have a couple links, but this is the majority for these metal thin dies. That's how we do that. Okay, and then with these, you just leave them as there is. Leave them as there is. Yeah, leave them as they are. Okay, and then just try to keep all your dies together, because you see, and this was just a quick pulling of some dies. Look how many different sizes and shapes. Yes, and I'm sure I could find some more. Oh yeah, right here. See? Yeah. And then we have these little ones. Yes. Now that's a couple sets. Okay. So, it's just one of those things. You have to find how you want them and then where you're going to put them. Okay, so that's with dies. So if you're a level 2 gal, you're going to actually maybe sit down and organize and get some cataloged, okay, instead of just letting them lay loose. Okay, so next up, we're going to talk about die cuts. Yes, our lovely ephemera. Can't get enough of it. I hope they never stop making them, because I'll never stop buying it. I mean, I really should. I have a little bit of thing. I have a tiny little thing concerning Kaiser Craft die cuts. They come in they didn't used to come in this. They came in a little bit bigger packaging at one time, but that's what they look like now. Yes. And so what we're going to do is not only are you going to try to gather all your die cut packs up that you can and find and either protect them, I'll put them in a different bag, you know, just like I did with these. Cut off some of the packaging, cut it down, put them all in there. Because not all ephemera packs are going to just be flat die cuts. Like if you look in these jelly bean seeds, there's buttons, there's burlap, there's all kinds of things. So ephemera packs sometimes have the lump and a bump. So you're going to have to put them in sandwich bags because you're going to lose the pieces. Okay, so yes, we're going to talk about this beautiful category right there. Okay, so what I wanted to say is, you know, you can put them in a bin or a basket. You can also use these storage cases. Okay, you might want to order some of these and switch over to that type of system, or you can do the sandwich bag route, or let me show you another quick alternative. Okay, and then also this is what I wanted to say. You know how I just showed with those dies? Let me see if I can open this without making too much noise. I have seen many people take their die cuts, cut off a little bit of packaging, and they put them, and pretend I took this out of the packaging, and they put them in these Avery L type pockets too. I mean, yes, you can simply do that. Now, some people buy the CD size, some people use the Avery L, some people buy bigger sizes. It's a total preference what you want. Just make sure you accommodate for the different sizes you get in some of these ephemera packs, because sometimes these pieces can get quite big. I mean, you can see some of those are quite big. These look kind of medium. I see that die cut packages are getting smaller in how much you get, and the actual die cuts are getting smaller. I noticed that this in the last year. So that's what you can do too. You can also just use these pockets that you're using for your dies, for your die cuts. Love that. Of course, I love those Avery L pockets. Yes. Okay, so here's a quick way if you want to take them out of the packaging and you want to skip the bag and the photo case type thing. Okay, and so what you can simply do is you can get a composition book and you can put your die cuts in something as simple as this. Now I'm going to have a video coming up in a day or two and explain more about this, but if you're thinking as you're doing your planning, or you're planning doing your thinking, either way, you can think about something like this. It depends on how many you have and how you want to access them, as well as the place to store them. Okay, so yes, that's a lot of work, especially when you gather these in one place and you start to realize how many of these die cut packs you have. Okay, now this is just the ones well, these are in bags, okay, but these are just the ones I've had in kits, or I've added a couple. I went on a trip and I found a couple of these. Oh, I'm so happy with that. Yes, okay, and some of these were just in kits, so that's just what I don't even have out of the packaging yet, and that's a nice little amount. Yes, we love our die cut packs. Okay, so what else did I have on here? Basically, with your dies and your die cuts, it's another one of those categories where you have to sit and think, how do I want to access them, and then how are you going to store them according to your style. It's the same with every other category, okay? But these are fun, okay? And like I said, I'll have a video coming up, and I'm going to show a couple different ways I have them, because I don't have them all mine in just one way. No, because that's not how I scrap. So, okay, I think that's all I'm going to have for week 11 of our summer space shape up. And love. Yes, okay. Now, you may not have time this week to address your dies and your die cuts. That's okay. Just do one week and put the other one on the back burner and do it down the road. Yes, okay. So that is our week 11 of our summer space shape up. And come back in a day or two for more talk about die cuts. Yes. Yes, fun stuff ahead. Okay, and come back to RTS, because you never know what we're going to do. Okay, bye.